Hello everybody, my name's Idiotic Synergy and today we are talking about the Ironhead Squat Prospectors gang, the relatively newest gang in Necromunda. I say relatively new, it's been I've got a feeling they came out a couple of years ago. Feels like a couple of years ago, but I could be wrong. Yeah, this gang is the newest one, I like to say. I think that's right, because it was Ashwaste Nomads, then this gang came out, so this is the newest gang, and I really want to know how they work. They're a really interesting gang as well, because they work in the mines of Necromunda, and yeah, they just look really cool. I've already sort of spoken about them before, when they first got announced, but I didn't ever make a proper video on them, so this is that. So this video is this. And honestly, I like the design of them. I really do. I think I prefer them over the regular Leagues of Volton, mainly because, yes, they have their Leagues of Armor gear, Leagues of Volton gear, but at the same time, they still maintain sort of miners equipment and stuff, and I think they look a lot cooler than just, over the top, not over the top, just regular power armor. I like the mix match. I like the fact they're designed to go down mines and kill people. Or not kill people, mine for resources, but at the same time this is Necromunda, so killing people probably comes with the territory. I like this person here who's got two guns. It's such a cool design. Though kind of derpy looking. Right. I don't know what the rules are, but I really hope their movement isn't 3 inches, like Grendel Grendelson, because otherwise I'm gonna cry. That's like my one fear, is that these guys will have the same movement as Grendel Bloody Grendelson, who only moves 3 inches at a time, and if you move, then they move a whopping 6 inches. He's so bad. He's such a shit bounty hunter. Don't use Grendel Grendelson. But despite that outburst, yeah, I like these models. They do mean business, and I wonder how easy it is to kitbash them and put them in, say, Imperial Guard. Because if they're working in Necromunda, like down in the mines, I wonder if some of them would join the Guard, or would join the Leagues of Volt. I don't know how it works, if I'm being honest, because I don't know enough about the lore when it comes to the Leagues of Volton, whether or not they don't like the Imperium, or I don't know if it's like an alliance sort of thing where it's uneasy. I really don't know enough about the lore when it comes to the Leagues of Volton. I do apologise. But I've never claimed to know anything about the Leagues of Volton. But it just seems weird that there's some Ironhead Prospectors there. I don't understand if some of them would join up with the Guard or just go back home to the Leagues of Volton. I really don't know. But regardless, all these models look really solid. I do like them. Though there is one issue I have with them. Just one, and that is the lack of Ironkin, but that's just me. I want to see Ironkin, just because I love Ironkin. Ironkin are like AI, I know that much, and I love Ironkin. They just go around the place going beep boop, and yeah, they're joyous, and I want more Ironkin. But regardless of all that, yeah, that's the gang. Unfortunately, it didn't show off all of it. I like this person here, because when I first saw that, I thought it was like some sort of bow on their head. It isn't. It's painted red, so he's probably like a sergeant or champion. Yeah, it's really cool. It is really cool. I like these guys. But how do they play in game? I have no idea. Their movement better not be 3 bloody inches, though. That's the one thing I want out of this gang, is movement to just be decent. If they move 3 inches, then it doesn't matter what equipment you give them, they're going to be shit. I don't want them to suffer the Grendel Grendelson curse. So let's just get into the rules. Yeah, jump cut, or however I'm going to do this. Yeah, it's always a jump cut, innit? I nearly forgot how to edit my videos. Yay! Oh, I'm going insane. See you in a minute. So, this is the rules for the squats of Necromunda, and yeah, they're alright. Looking at the rules, they do remind me of Enforcers a little bit, because because they are a bit expensive. However, they are tougher than regular enforcers, but the trade-off is that their initiative is shit and their movement is 4. Luckily, it isn't movement 3, because if it was, I was going to cry. We don't... Just buff Grendel Grendelson. Give him movement 4. Movement 4's fine. Just buff Grendel Grendelson. We need justice for Grendel Grendelson. No, we don't. He's shit. But, regardless of how you feel about the squat bounty hunter, these squats are alright. They're an interesting gang. I don't really know what to say other than go through the rules. So let's start with the big old leader. Movement 4, weapon skill 3, ballistic skill 3, that's quite good. It's basically having weapon skill 3 and ballistic skill 3 is quite nice, especially on a leader. Because usually it's either one gets the 2 profile and the other one is 4 or 5. So having both of them be equal is, yeah, it's quite good. So don't turn your nose up at it and go, oh, it's not weapon skill 2 or ballistic skill 2. I don't care, because it's quite good. Strength 3, toughness 4, wounds 3, initiative 5. That might hinder you in some games. That might actually cripple you quite badly. Attacks 2, leadership 5, cool check 5, willpower 5, and intelligence 6. 115 credits. That is a lot of points, and this is before you give them any equipment. They can take skills, and they do have their own little skill tree, they do have their own skills called Wisdom. I want to try and find it. Is it up here? Nope, that's something else entirely. My apologies. Fine. I'll show you later. So, moving on, let's go to the Drill Champion, where they have movement 4. They're all movement 4, apart from this guy here. Weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 3. Welcome to my world of Enforcer Sergeants. However, unlike an Enforcer Sergeant who doesn't have ballistic skill 3, this guy's got attacks 2, which is one more than an Enforcer Sergeant. Just putting it out there. But movement 4, weapon skill 4, ballistic 3, strength 3, toughness 4, wounds 2, initiative 5, again hurts my soul, attacks 2, leadership 6, cool check 6, willpower 6, and intelligence 7 at 85 creds. Now, again, that is quite pricey for a champion. The Ganger is 50 creds, and yeah, I don't like the Ganger, because it's just a shit enforcer. It's a okay, maybe not just a shit enforcer, it's a slightly tougher enforcer. So, with an enforcer, it's the same. Weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 4, movement 4, while an enforcer is movement 5. I went through strength and toughness. Wounds 1, initiative 5, attacks 1, leadership 7, cool check 6, which is better than an enforcer, I guess. Fuck off. Oh dear, poor enforcers. They need to be updated. Just give us something better, please. Willpower 6, intelligence 7, 50 creds, and the Juve Digger is movement 5, weapon skill 5, ballistic skill 5, strength 3, toughness 4, wounds 1, initiative 4 plus, attacks 1, leadership 8, cool check 7, willpower 6, intelligence 7, 35 creds. Now, I would go through the Exo Driller, but I've already covered it at length, so we ain't going through that again. I've already done videos on it. I think I did 2 videos on it where I had to correct myself, so yeah, we ain't going to get through it, but they do have their own skill tree, or skill set, I should say, not skill tree, called Wisdom, which seems quite interesting. And these are the weapons, and honestly, their weapons are quite good. In fact, they're really good, because they all have the Ironhead profile, which is really goddamn good. However, there's one tiny downside. Their weapons are really expensive. So, Yeah, this is sort of the issue enforcers have sometimes, where the ganger is quite expensive, and the weapons are quite expensive, meaning that it's going to be slightly difficult to balance the two out. However, looking at the Ironhead variants, it is worth the money, but an auto pistol usually is 10 creds, not 20. A bolt pistol is 45 creds. A hand flamer is 85 creds. The stone burner is a whopping 70. The stub gun, which is a stub gun, is 10. An auto gun is 25. A bolt gun is 95. A flamer 150. A melter gun 155. A heavy stubber is 140. A mining laser is 125. Both of these I covered, and the prices. I just stick with the heavy flamer. Out of the two, variants you can give the Exo Driller, I think I said go with the Flamer, because the Flamer's just fun to use, but it's quite expensive. But then again, the Bolt is also quite good. It's up to you. I can't remember what I said. Their melee weapons are also surprisingly quite solid. Yeah, they're not anything special, but they have got really solid weapons. In fact, I quite like the power axe. The power axe is quite good. The gem extractor it's nothing special, but that's also quite good. The stone saw is quite fun. Even a knife. The knife is a knife. It's got backstab. It depends how you're building your army. There's all this choice for you, so you don't feel like you have to be limited. The power pick is quite interesting. The power fist custom is very nice. The power hammer is also nice. Basically, you've got a solid choice of melee weapons, is what I'm trying to say, other than the arc welder. I don't know what it is, I just don't like the arc welder. I know someone's going to say, actually, it's the best weapon in the game. But honestly, I don't like the arc welder. I don't know what it is, it's just not my cup of tea. The power, choose anything else other than the arc welder. Also, it is 100 creds, which is a lot of points to put into one melee weapon. And yeah, I find I am generally surprised that a flamer is 150 creds. But that all being said, you have grenades. Smoke is a solid choice. Always bring smoke. Smoke will provide you cover. You can get blasting charges, obviously, but smoke is underrated as shit. Your armor, as well, is quite expensive because you can have carapace, light or heavy. I would recommend you go with light. Heavy's alright. It depends how your playstyle is. Mesh is fine. Flak is flak. Only get flak. Flak's cheap, but your weapons are also expensive. So your toughness 4 as well, which is surprisingly quite good. So, I recommend you put flak on your captain. Yeah, actually put armor on your guys, especially if you're playing Ash Wastes, because if you get what is it called, the Season of Sun or whatever, or the Season of Fire, and none of your guys are wearing armor, that's it, you are just dead. You are going to burn alive whether you want to or not. So put flak on your guys if you're not sure. Heavy carapace seems a bit overkill. Light carapace seems alright to put on the captain. And mesh is mesh. But I'm not your dad, I can't tell you what to do. And that's it, really. We've got skills to look at, and that's about it. So, if you don't mind, I'm going to jump cut this bit because I can't ever remember where the skills are. So, let's just... I'll see you in a minute. Again, I'll see you later in just one little minute or second to you. Ooh. Right. Yeah, I'm going to try and hunt down skills. Woo! So, these are the skills of the squats, and The first one seems really situational. While not captured or in recovery, gain an additional D6 times 10 credits where per wrecked enemy vehicle. That one's alright as long as your opponent is bringing a vehicle such as a quad bike, because you can easily wreck a quad bike. That's seriously quad bikes, unless they've got janky rolls. I'm not saying I've got janky rolls or anything, but sometimes my quad bikes can outlive a fucking Ridge Runner. I just don't know what happens. But if you're playing with someone normal, then if they've brought a quad bike, then that's an easy times 10 D6 times 10 credits in your stash. But again, that skill seems really situational, and if you're playing indoors, where vehicles are not prevalent, then that could be an issue. But yeah, that really could be an issue. But if there's vehicles and you know of vehicles, then bring it. You might gain yourself 60 credits, which is a lot of money to have in Necromunda. Nobody pushes kin around, never moved by a weapon trait or skill used against this fighter. And you automatically pass any initiative test to avoid falling or when becoming pinned close to an edge. I would take this one because your initiative is shit. I'm sorry, it's just shit. Your initiative is shit, and this skill might become more useful as the campaign goes on, so bring it. Make sure you have that little bit of security with you. Chemical bonds never break. Can use a chem twice. Does anyone actually use chems? I don't actually know if anybody uses them. It's really weird. Yeah, does anyone... I don't know what chems do. I have no idea what chems do. I don't think anyone brings chems. Or is a stim slug stash technically a chem, in which case bring it if you... I don't know what chems do. I don't think I've played against anybody that uses chems. Oh, I need to know what chems do now. I really hope they've got some horrible effects. That's the joy of Necromunda, not if they work, but what happens if you fuck up. That's like the sole joy of Necromunda. Like, Perils of the Warp is the best thing ever. If you got a friend who's brought a Psyker, just hope there's Perils of the Warp, because it becomes its own thing. And it's just so dumb. It's such a dumb thing that happens with Perils of the Warp, because a table opens and... yeah, it's really interesting. Anyway, but sorry, but I don't know what chems do, and I don't know if a slug stim stash counts as a chem, but that seems useful. Dependable like kin, equipped weapons ignore unstable. Okay, bring this one. Yeah, bring this one. This one is useful. Dependable like kin, equipped weapons ignore unstable. Bring this. Holy shit, that's really useful. Oh, and you can reroll any ammo tests. Again, really useful, especially if you've got a flamer. Holy shit, bring this. Fuck, just bring this. This is great. What? Yeah, okay, this is a definite bring skill. Just bring it. It's bloody amazing. Stubborn to the last before taking out of action. Make a shoot/fight basic action. Even if not ready, that one could be quite useful. Say you got shot in the head by a sniper and you're out of action. You can always go, right, I'm going to shoot back, and yeah, that could be really useful. Or if you're in melee and you've got like 2 attacks that you want to use, that is really useful. Give that to a captain. I recommend you give that one to a captain. Dependable like kin, give that to a sergeant. And if you've got another sergeant, give them this one. There's always another secret. Gain D6 times 10 credits when opening a loot casket. That one is more useful than this one. Because though this one is incredibly situational, and you could argue so's this one, loot casket missions are more prevalent in the game than there are vehicles. So always get this one and gain D6 times 10 credits when opening a loot casket is insane. that is really good, because that's D6 times 10. The possibility of getting 60 credits right there. And it doesn't even say, whether or not it's a trap or not, because some loot caskets, if you roll a 1, it's a trap. 2 or 3, that's empty. 4, 5, there's something in there. And a 6 is, I can't remember. But as long as you're opening them, D6 times 10 credits is really useful. In fact, you could probably sacrifice a Juve to open these, and then just gain D6 times 10 credits. That is incredibly useful. Yeah, okay, the 3 skills I would bring is this guy for the captain, this one for the sergeant, and this one for another sergeant. That one seems really cool. I don't know enough about chems. Nobody pushes kin around. Oh, that skill's also useful. I don't know. These 4 skills seem really useful. These 2 don't. I don't know if anybody actually uses chems. If you use chems a lot and you build your list to specifically have chems, then bring this. But this one just seems really situational. So yeah, it's up to you. Anyway, I've got to go. So that's been a look at the kin. My apologies for wasting your time, and I'll see you later. Remember, take care, stay safe, and look after each other. Bye for now.